Toyota Winners Lounge, powered by your Front Range Toyota dealerships. This is the DNVR Avalanche postgame show presented by Bet365 as the Avs. I don't feel like escape is the right word. I feel like they hard-earned that win. It just took a little bit longer than maybe it should have as they go 2-1 over the Vegas Golden Knights in the shootout. Val Nichuskin scores both goals. I guess if he scores the real goal and he scores the only goal they score in the shootout. So technically both goals. As the Avs, honestly, yeah, the first period was kind of just okay. Honestly, I don't think it was that bad, but the rest of the game was fantastic from Colorado. You were watching it out in Boston. What did you see in this one?
So impressed by the Avalanche tonight. I talked about it in my keys and on the pregame show there with you, and people don't realize how hard that is of a game to play. And you'll never hear from coaches because they talk about it behind closed doors. You don't want to make a point of it that you're going to feel like crap. And I tell you one thing, it is a hard thing to do to come back from the East and to play a late game tonight in Mountain Time. After an 8-9 day road trip to the East, and I tip my hat. To the Avalanche. I thought they were outstanding. Really took them, like you said, 10-15 minutes to really get their legs from underneath them. And once they did that, they felt that they were in control of the game, and they never looked back. They got scored on, and they punched right back, right in the face, right? You know what I mean? Like they just as you guys know, my no-nos. That's a big no-no for Vegas right there. You let the Avalanche back in 33 seconds later after you take the lead. Like I said, kudos to the Avalanche. It was a well-played game, top to bottom. I felt that they had a gazillion chances. You can't look at the final score and say 1-1 game. You know what I mean? Obviously a 2-1 game, but I'm talking about in regulation and OT, and it wasn't a boring game. I felt it was very entertaining. I felt the Avalanche was awesome. I thought McKinnon was awesome. And, they didn't give up anything. They felt they were in control of the game. Again, I can't be more pleased. And I'm sure everybody's tired. It's late in Denver as well. And I'm pretty sure tomorrow's Thanksgiving. I'm not pretty sure. I'm sure tomorrow's Thanksgiving. But the Avalanche are going to be well-deserved day off tomorrow from the coaching staff to the players, and just kind of put their feet up on the couch, watch a little football, and breathe a little bit before going back at it Friday.
Eric, what time is it for you right now?
But in the East right now, it's 1:24 in the morning.
So that's my point, because that's what the Avs feel like it is right now. You talked about the 8-day road trip they just had on the East Coast. So it feels like 1:30 in the morning to the Avs, too. And they still found a way to, honestly, they got better as the game went on. They felt like they found their legs more and more, which is a little bit surprising given how late this game feels for them.
Yeah, and we were discussing right before the show started, the only thing that, and I'm not taking anything away from the Avalanche, because I felt that this is one of their best efforts of the season, and a big one, too, against a good team. A team that you kind of have a little bit of a rivalry with because of postseason battles there a couple years back, and two good teams in the West. You know what I mean? This could be very well, any one of those two teams that comes out of the West. We always talk about it all the time. Vegas Golden Knights are not an easy opponent, and I tell you, like, it's just, they were on the road trip just like the Avalanche, in a sense. They've been in the East.
It's been a long go for them, yeah.
It's been a long go for them. They got in late, too, a couple nights ago. And I'm not saying, that's why I said, I'm not trying to take anything away from the Avalanche. But I said that's even what's even more impressive by the Avalanche, because there was one team on the ice tonight that was so much more dominant than the others, and it happened to be the Avalanche. And they were, like I said, both in similar situations schedule-wise. You know what I mean? I haven't been in the East and coming in late. And so, again, hats off to the Avalanche, because, oh boy, they didn't let that affect them. And it's not even, like I said, it's not a myth, it's a reality. It is a known factor. And if you just look at the Vegas Golden Knights, I think the proof's in the pudding. You saw it. They really had nothing, where the Avalanche had everything.
Agree. I really have very, very few negative things to say about this team tonight. I think as a team, it was very quality hockey in every category except finishing, and a good portion of that is Aiden Hill playing very, very well tonight, and the Avs were still able to get the win.
Yeah, and like you said, Aiden Hill's done it. He's won a couple years back. You can say that, you know what I mean. It's an average strength for the Vegas Golden Knights. A lot of people say that, but then everybody's talking about Aiden Hill probably being a Team Canada for the Four Nations, right? He's been good. He was good tonight. When you're good, you get the luck on your side. Obviously, McKinnon had 2 posts tonight. Easily could have been. Actually, the second post would have been sick. That was a sick play. I was surprised. I mean, it's kind of cool the way he does it. But again, unbelievable player. Not a lot of people can make that play. But Aiden Hill is really good. I thought if you look at it, go back and look at the broadcast, you can tell after the OT, his pauses at the bench are a little bit longer. You know what I mean? They're a little bit more like, whoo, hey, I need more to towel. As we know, the oxygen and the altitude. And he was getting a little bit tired, but kudos to him. He didn't give up. He fought hard. And obviously, he's the only reason that the Vegas Golden Knights got 1 point tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah. This game could have very easily not been close. I do want to get into the positives of that. I do want to talk about the one, I don't know that I would call it a negative per se. The Avs do get out of the first period without giving up a goal. You also felt like they didn't really produce a lot in that first period. Eric, after a lot of first periods that have been rough, where do you see this one?
Well, that's a win. I think you said it, on Twitter there. I was following your shenanigans on Twitter. I think you did say that, right? I think you say something like, "Oh wow, it's the first period." And honestly, I think as a staff, as players, we talk about this all the time on the road. Like even or better, after one on the road, you feel pretty good about it. Today you were at home; it's a little different. But I think going into the locker room, there's 0-0. You're like, okay, you know what? All right, let's dig down here. Let's dig deep. First period's over. I think the stat on TNT was they have the 35 goals against, which is dead last in the NHL in the first period, right?
Yep.
But also they have 34 goals, which I think is something like number 1 for goals for in the first period, something like that. It just, the stat doesn't add up. It's just so crazy the way they've been playing those first periods. So you're bang on. Bagel after one. I think it was a perfect scenario for the Avalanche. And then you could feel a guy like McKinnon was starting to, feel and get his legs, and you knew that a lot was going to happen. Obviously, he could have had 5-6 goals tonight. I think he had like 20 shot attempts, or I don't remember the numbers by now, but he was right around 20 shot attempts, which is ridiculous, which is crazy. But that's what McKinnon does. But I think the first period, like you said, was key. And the key was that it was 0-0, and they weren't chasing the game. So I thought it was real important part of the first period, and obviously something that they'll look back watching the game on and say, okay, that was perfect. And then we took control a little bit afterwards and never looked back.
Yeah, we'll talk about Nathan McKinnon a little bit more a little bit later, but to focus in on some of the numbers of this game, the Avs are probably not the better team in the first period, but it wasn't horrible. It wasn't like a lot of the first periods have been lately for this team. And then, frankly, the rest of the game was not even close. Honestly, you could even argue the Avs were the better team in the first period. I don't think that's true. They were outshot 10-6, despite outcoursing Vegas 22-17. Missed shots on net continues to be an issue for Colorado. But through the rest of the game, the Avs had 50 Corsi for through the second and third periods, whereas Vegas had just 20. That's complete domination. Vegas gets just 9 shots on goal through the rest of the game, whereas the Avs got, I think, if you include overtime, it's like 30 shots on goal for the Avs compared to Vegas's 9. The Avs just completely took over the game. Total for the game, high danger chances, 16-5 in the Avs' favor at 5-on-5. The Avs were just the better team in pretty much every single category of the game, except for when it comes to actually finishing their goals. That's the only thing that they came up short with. If the Avs put the puck in the back of the net even a little bit better, and Nathan McKinnon was a couple inches away from having 2 tonight, they could have easily ran away with this game. Vegas really was lucky to be in this game at all. They're extremely lucky to even get a point out of this game. The Avs were the better team almost all the way through. I think maybe the first 10 minutes of the first period, it felt a little bit slow, but the last 55 minutes was all Avalanche.
100%. And like we talked about, this is where if you were wondering, like, are the again, I'm not assuming anything, but, are the Avalanche maybe out of shape or something like that? You know what I mean? You're looking back, you're like, all right, sometimes, like, wow, like last game felt that they weren't there. We'll see. And I think this was a real test tonight to know. And you look at each other as a staff and you're like, all right, they got plenty of shape in their system. You know what I mean? Those guys, like you said, the weird part is as the game went on, they got better and better and better. And I think guys were skating better and better. They were creating more and more, back-checking more and more. Clearly, of the 40 players on the ice tonight, again, both teams in kind of similar situations. The Avalanche were by far the guys that looked like had the most win. And again, they were gone from the altitude for the past 9 days, so you can't even say, oh, they have an advantage. They've been here, both teams were in the same spot, and then you got to feel for the Vegas Golden Knights. Now they're going to go home late tonight. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. It's kind of a long day in the sense that, well, whatever. I'm not saying it's a long day, but then you play against Winnipeg Jets at home. You know what I mean? That is a tough task, and they're going to be in the shoes and of what the Avalanche were kind of facing tonight, in the sense that, it's in the back of your head. Like I said, I'm not making this up as a player. It's just a fact. I haven't lived it. It's so hard to play that game. It is tough because your legs are, like you said, I think that's what saved the Avalanche side. It's that first period. You know what I mean? Because mentally you fall down 1 or 2 or 3-0, whatever it is. Sayonara, there's no chance of you coming back from that one. Because right away, I think your body would have said, all right, shut it down. You know what I mean? Yeah. Where it was 0-0, it just kept creeping in their game in a sense that, oh, you know what? Maybe we're in it.
Welcome back.
Did I lose you?
I think so. It's all good. Are we live? I don't know if we're live or not, but if in case we are live, Eric was saying the correct things. Okay. Either way, as Eric was saying, when you look at this game, it wasn't just, Colorado played better. It was they dominated the entire game all the way through. They had not just the legs, but the higher effort level. They were winning puck battles. They were winning the defensive battles. They were creating better opportunities. Top to bottom, the Avs were just the better team.
100%. I mean, if you look at, if you want to compare, top lines to bottom six, to top, to 6Ds, to top 4. Again, goaltending, it's hard to judge Georgiev tonight. He wasn't very busy, where obviously Aiden Hill was really busy, so it's hard to say that Georgiev was better. But he was better than the other guy in the shootout. He made all the saves, and the other guy dropped one. So, you know what I mean? So you got to give him kudos right there. But, yeah, overall, I thought the Avalanche, and there's a little play I want to talk about, too. Like, if you look in the third period, about 5 minutes to go, I don't remember exactly when. And this is when we talk about, like, sometimes we're hard. When I say we, everyone, chat, fans, us, pundits, about Josh Manson. He gets stuck out there, and Jack Eichel's having an MVP-type season. He was dancing on that shift. He gets that puck, and I perked up on the couch, and I'm like, uh-oh. You know what I mean? And Josh Manson just makes an absolute stud play, standing him up, doesn't let him go around him, and then the play just dies. It's a nothing burger play, but for me, that's the play of the third period, because I tell you one thing, they score there, you're in trouble. You know what I mean? Like, obviously, down 2-1 now instead of still being 1-1. So, Josh Manson, on plays like that, that's why you have Josh Manson. That's why you have a solid big guy that can play top 4 minutes, and you're going to get stuck out there sometimes against the opposition's best player, arguably one of the NHL's best players. And that was a huge play by Josh Manson there in the fifth. If you can go back, look around, it's right around the fifth 5-minute mark in the third.
Yep, I want to give the Avs defense a lot of credit, but we'll get to that in a minute. First, Eric, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Good. Our newest partner is Verizon. You can get with Verizon right now. 'Tis the season, and Verizon will give you a $200 Verizon gift card when you switch and purchase a select phone on select unlimited plans. It's a great way to start off the holidays. Their 5G network that powers your day, whether it's calling your mom or take off for streaming jams, whatever you want to do, Verizon has you covered with their award-winning network performance. Verizon lets you trade in any phone, any condition, guaranteed for a great deal on a new one with their ultimate unlimited plan, and a phone trade-in from Apple, Samsung, or Google. So jump on with Verizon Access right now. It gets you into the experiences you love, too. You can get to sports, music, and entertainment all through Verizon. Again, switch now and you get $200 gift card only at Verizon. Of course, the $200 Verizon e-gift card is sent within 8 weeks, requires device payment purchase, minimum retail price of $799.99, and port in with new smartphone line on postpaid, unlimited plus, or unlimited ultimate plan required. Once you've got your new Verizon phone, also make sure you're living well. Live Well is one of our newer companies that work with us, and they just want to make sure everyone has access to cannabis in the best way possible and is living their best life. Living well, if you will. You can jump on with Live Well. They have a bunch of locations here in Colorado to make it convenient for anyone to get to your local Live Well store. And they have great people who work for them that are super knowledgeable staff. You can visit any Live Well dispensary and learn more from their people working there, whatever product it might be. Flowers, edibles, concentrates, and more. Live Well also proudly offers a price match guarantee, ensuring you get the best value by matching local competitors. So visit livewell.com today. Reserve your products for pickup from their online website, or simply stop by your local Live Well location. They'll answer all your questions, and you get 25% off when you mention code DNVR25 in store off one of their regular priced items. Of course, restrictions apply. See livewell.com to get your orders in. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. Again, the Avs gave up 9 shots in the second, third, and overtime of this game. It was not particularly close. They really did not give up anything to Vegas. And I don't want to take anything away from Georgiev. I thought he played a good game. But if you're looking at these two goalies, Adin Hill had a much bigger workload. The Avs did a very good job of making Georgiev's life easy, and Georgiev did what he had to do, but the Avs defense, especially after last game, deserves a lot of credit for the game they put in here.
Absolutely. And that's what, again, that's Avalanche hockey, right? What is it? It's puck possession. It's not spending a lot of time in your own end. It's dominating portions and minutes, large portions, large amount of time in a row with the puck. And sometimes it can be hard on goalies. It can be. Again, I'll say it again, and I'll say it right now. Playing goalie for the Avalanche, it's not the hardest thing to do. You know what I mean? You're averaging, if you look at the last 10, 12 games, you're averaging barely 20 shots a night. So you're not overworked. You just got to be sharp. You got to come up with the timely saves. And if you even go look back at that first period, he does make a couple saves where, if pucks go in, it's a different story in that first period. After that, wasn't really sharp. Not sharp yet. Didn't have to be sharp. They didn't give up anything. But in the overtime, in the shootout, it is a skills competition, and he comes up big on the shootout there. So that's your job as a goalie for the Avalanche. You're not going to get 40, 50 shots. For example, like Gibson tonight, he gives up 2 goals on 48 shots, right? Gets the win in Anaheim with 46 saves. And then McKenzie Blackwood, if you look at on the opposite, and you talk about it all the time about he's a volume goalie, right? Where he does well when he gets a lot of shots tonight. I think he gives, I think he's got like 12 shots against or something like that, and he loses 4-3. And that's your point, you know what I mean? Where all of a sudden he barely made 6, 7, 8 saves, and then he loses the game, you know what I mean? So it's easier for goalies like Adin Hill tonight to be on top of your game when you're facing lots of shots, lots of shot attempts and dangerous shot attempts, McKinnon, Rantanen, and Makar. I mean, it keeps coming at you. Where on the other side, Georgiev, it's tough because you're not getting, some shots. You're not involved. Your heart rate's not going up, so it's tough. It's tough to stay involved in the game. And if you can learn to to do that on a consistent basis, then that's what playing goalie for the Avalanche is.
A lot of praise here, and I don't want to knock the Avs too much for this, but ultimately they do still give up the first goal of this game. I don't think the defense is great on the play. You see Ivan kind of get caught flat-footed at the end of this one. Still a pretty tough angle to see a goal go in on.
Yeah, I mean, that's a tough one. But if you look at those passes, though, I give credit to, I thought TNT did a good job there on that replay. They showed it from the overview from the back of their goal line, where all of a sudden there's 4, 5, 6 passes, right? Boom, boom, change puck sides, put puck possession left, right. D's jumping in the play. I thought it was, again, I always say there's an opponent on the ice. It'd be nice to play the game without any opponent. It'd be really easy. But give credit right there to Vegas, where they change puck sides, and that creates creates the confusion like you're talking about with Ivan there, and things like that. And they executed, and the guy, give him credit. He sees Georgie cheating a little bit, and this guy's he's a prolific shooter. I mean, this guy's scored a lot of goals last year as a call-up, basically in 30, 40 games, whatever he had, like 15 goals in 37 games, whatever it was. And this year, what was it, his 13th or 14th or something like that? Like, he's...
Not sure, yeah.
Or he's close. I mean, the guy can shoot the puck. You know what I mean? So,
yes.
Again, in the NHL, when you got to give credit to shooters, I mean, holy cow, when they see something, they go after it. And that's the big difference, for example, from my era to this era. Guys obviously can really put it where they want it. And obviously he saw it on the left side there, and he said, I'm going to put it there. And that's what he did. He put it right there with the peanut butter. Right up top.
And you know what? I might have a bigger problem with it if it happened in the first period of this game went a different way. But ultimately, at that point, it didn't slow the Avs down. They continued to play well through not just the second, but the third period. And they get the answer immediately. An Eric no-no for Vegas as the next shift, the goal was in the back of their net instead.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they punched him right back in the mouth, right? I mean, like, because that's... You're playing a decent period there, whatever, and it's, again, you're playing a decent game, and it's a tough game that we talked about. Then you fall down one, and you're like, oh, boy, here we go again. You just got drubbed. Pummeled 8-2, right? The last game. If you think that you just throw it out the window, it doesn't work that way. You can say you're throwing it out the window, but it's still lingering with you. Hey, we got to be sharp. We just lost 8-2. It doesn't go away until the final score of the next game. So right away you're like, okay, you don't want this to escalate. And then what do they do? And that's where it's a big play. If you're asking the DNVR play of the game right there, it's that punch back right there, that goal by Nichuskin to make it 1-1, 33 seconds later. Here's a pivotal moment in the game, and it is a no-no on behalf of the Vegas Golden Knights. They're going to be looking back at this, and they're going to be like, on the plane tonight, looking back at that play and dissecting it. But on the flip side, it shows you what the Avalanche are made of and what these guys are capable, and that's a championship mentality team. And you saw it right there on that play.
Kind of ran down some of these guys just right now, but there are a few more things I want to say about them. Let's get to our 3 stars of the night for the Colorado Avalanche. Now, we did a Colorado Avalanche 3 stars. If you're doing both teams 3 stars, I no doubt in my mind Adin Hill makes these 3 stars. So honorable mention to him. Played great tonight. He's the only reason the Avs did not run away with this hockey game. But for the Avs side of things with 3 stars, let's start it off with star number 3 here, and that is Nathan MacKinnon. I know that Nathan MacKinnon maybe doesn't have the point total he probably deserved tonight, but I think Nathan MacKinnon played absolutely fantastic tonight. He had the 2 posts. He was regularly shooting the puck, something we've been asking him to do for games and games and games. The shots were going off tonight. They just didn't happen to find the back of the net. He helped set up the Avs' only regulation goal. He gets the assist on Nichuskin's goal, and he was flying, regularly challenging defenders, trying to go wide, trying to go hard to the net, doing all of the great things that you expect out of a superstar. I loved Nathan MacKinnon's game tonight.
And I'll tell you one thing, if I can just add a little something right there, I thought it was his best game in the last 6, 7, 8 games. Whatever.
Agreed.
People say, oh, he's in a little slump, whatever it is. Boy, oh boy, he was all over the map. And for me, is when you just sit back and you're sitting wherever you are and you're watching the game on TV, you're not watching it live. If you see a guy like that pop on the screen, you're like, okay, he's got it. His legs are moving. And that's what I'm going to say. My first year out, I worked with the coaching staff of Bob Harley in the Avalanche. And I worked in the video room. And Joe Sakic used to always come in after the first and come, because we had that relationship. We were ex-teammates. And he'd walk in, look at me and be like, yeah? And I'd be like, oh, yeah, you're popping. You're popping. I can see you through the screen. You know what I mean? And it was funny because we had that, you know what I mean, like understanding of each other. Like, and they'd be like, yeah, some days I'd be like, yeah, he'd be like, yeah, I know, I can't find my legs right now. That wasn't the case tonight with McKinnon. You could see him pop through the screen, and boy, it was pretty to watch tonight.
Yep, that's the type of play the Avs need out of Nathan McKinnon. So even if it might not be quite there on the score sheet tonight, I mean, he was involved in their only real goal, but not a 3, 4, 5 point night like we've become a little too accustomed to for him, probably. It was still very, very good.
But you're keeping, Vegas Golden Knights on their heels and not in the offensive zone, because you have to defend and you have to be unnerved. And, you know what I mean? Like, he is the fastest guy. And like I said, you see him do the crossovers in the neutral zone. You're like, oh, boy, right? We have that shirt. Oh, boy. You know what I mean? And that's exactly what that was tonight. It was, oh, boy, because he was flying.
10 shots on goal by himself tonight. On the ice, his Corsi was 35-16. I mean, that's ridiculous numbers of offensive generation right there. So ridiculous from Nathan McKinnon tonight. Our second star, we move back to our guy in goal. Did Georgiev play an all-world fantastic game? No. Did he play way better than he has a lot of nights this season? Yes. Was it exactly what the Avs needed? Yes. And the reason he gets the second star is that shootout. He gives up 0 goals in the shootout, stops every single opportunity against him, gives the Avs the opportunity to win this game. The Avs do not get across the line without that shootout performance from Georgiev.
No, exactly. And what you want to be is, you want to be better as a goaltender than the guy down at the other end from you. Tonight, if you're looking at the game, in the 3 periods in overtime, it's hard to be better than the other guy because you're not really getting tested where the other guy's getting tested. But if you look in the shootout, he's better than the other guy. He gives up none, and the other guy gives up 1. So that's your job, mano a mano. I beat the guy across from me, and that's what you want from your goalie. And you know what? Give him kudos in the shootout there. He was better than Nathan Hill. That was fantastic tonight. So good for him.
We'll get to our first star in just a second. Before we get to that, we are brought to you by Coors Light. Make sure you go getting yourself some Coors Light. It's the beer literally made to chill. The mountains turn blue on the bottle or the can. I had a few during the game tonight because, it makes me chill. I'm a chill guy. I like chilling. So I go get myself a Coors Light. You don't have to come to the bar, though you should come to the bar to have a Coors Light. You can get one delivered right to your front door with CoorsLight.com/DNVR, thanks to Instacart. So you don't even have to get up off your couch to go get your Coors Light. While you're watching your Avs, go grab a Coors Light and enjoy the game. This one was fun. I enjoyed this one a lot with a Coors Light in my hand. Of course, please drink responsibly. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado, and go check out CoorsLight.com/DNVR. And once you've got your Coors Light, once you're chilling, make sure you also are taking care of all of your snack and gas station needs when it comes to Circle K. You can become a part of Circle K's Inner Circle Rewards today with that QR code right on screen, and you save 25 cents a gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Of course, they have a bunch of other amazing deals on snacks and drinks every single day, whether it's a Polar Pop or their snack deal of the day. They also have sweepstakes and giveaways and all sorts of cool stuff when it comes to the Circle K Inner Circle app. So make sure you're getting your discounts with Circle K with the app. Again, QR code on screen, or go to CircleK.com/InnerCircle today to get yourself signed up. All it takes is an email and a phone number, and you're getting discounts with Circle K. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast. I want to get to our number 1 star here. There is obviously no doubt who it is. It is Val Nichuskin for the Avs as the first star, the only Colorado Avalanche player to put a puck in the back of the net. And Nichuskin only going to get credit for 1 goal, but also scores the only shootout goal of the night for the Avs. Look, I'm not saying one good hockey game forgives Val Nichuskin for the things he's done and the ways he's come short for this team, but it's a good way to start a mea culpa, no?
Absolutely, and I think if you look back at that game, it's a 2-1 game. Not a lot out there. I was just reading Bednar's comments, like, there wasn't a lot, right? You had to fight for every inch you got. It was well played by both teams, like I said. You got to give credit to Vegas. They, even though the Avs kind of crapped on them, the last two periods, they still had some structure, and again, they worked hard. They gave everything they had. It's not like they gave up, but both teams had to dig in. And if you look at both huge plays of the game, well, first is that punch back by the Avalanche, which is Nichuskin's goal, and then two is the only goal in the shootout. So he's involved in both plays, and you're right. He's got a lot to do to get back in the good graces in a sense of what's happened. But when you have a situation like tonight, a sold-out building, Thanksgiving and late night, and you have the game on your stick, and we all know I don't like the shootout, so I hate that part. But still, it's your chance to give 2 points to your team after everything that's happened. I think it's a great opportunity for you to show that you want to help this team win, and again, you owe more than that. In my book. But like you said, it's a great start, and obviously it's his fifth or whatever it is, sixth game that he's been back. But tonight, you see how much of a difference maker number 13 can be for a team like the Avalanche.
And take the player's name out of it, take the context of Val Nichuskin's career. When you look at it strictly tonight, the Avs get shut out without Val Nichuskin tonight. And we're sitting here doing a postgame going, the Avs can't score goals. What's going on? Why can't they continue to produce offense? Yeah, they got goalied a little bit, but that's not an excuse, especially when you got goalied not that long ago against Winnipeg, too. Instead, we get to have a conversation about how the Avs played really well. They won the game. That's the ultimate objective here. It's hard to be mad about a team that played this way, and it's Val Nichuskin pulling on the rope in the right direction for them. And I don't know if I'd say leading the way. I think it's probably more McKinnon leading the way tonight, to be honest with you. But being that key piece in their top six that they need, the key producer, the guy finishing plays, the guy helping them win hockey games, the guys that they frankly missed a ton in the first 15 games of this season.
Yeah, and again, I'm going back to the TNT broadcast tonight because it was a national game. But when you're sitting back and you don't see the Avalanche every day, which we do, but for them, they don't. And you're looking at it and you're like, boy, they do have everything. You know what I mean? And they were talking about the question mark and net. And, but they're saying if they can get consistency in there, they got everything on the back end. They got everything on those four lines. And when they see everyone, healthy, and we're not even going to touch Landeskog because we said we wouldn't and we won't. But you got Ross Colton maybe coming back fairly soon, a few weeks away, right? And you still have Jonathan Drouin out. They're looking at this and they're like, oh boy. And that's what Val Nichuskin does. That's what Arturi Lehkonen does. Because if you're looking at the McKinnon and Rantanens and then the Makars, again, I'll say it again, for the 77,000th time, 486, three of the top 10 best players in the National Hockey League today. And then you add the Lehkonens and you add the Nichuskin, it makes you absolutely rock solid. The Devontaes on the back end, right? The secondary guys. This roster is built geniusly. This roster is built through the draft after some growing pains, as we all know. But it's masterfully put together by Joe and C-Mac and the crew and the amateur side and the pro side. And you're going to see, again, we go back to Avalanche 1.0, right? 96 to 01. Multiple cups, multiple chances and missed cups. You're going to see more chances, the Avalanche, from 2022 to whatever it is, 20, God, I hate saying that. It makes you get old, like 2030. You know what I mean? Like, oh, God, I hate saying that.
We're not even halfway there yet, buddy. Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's absolutely crazy. This is a roster, and this is Oh boy, a nucleus of core guys that it's absolutely dynamite. It's dynamite, and the secondary guys, and that's what we're talking about. The Nichuskin's impacting on the roster with the Lekkonens and the Tays and Gerard. Don't forget Gerard. You know what I mean? Manson. This is a team that's rock solid. It's dynamite.
I, the part that I love about this too is when you have the conversation about the Avs lineup, who do you think was playing above their heads tonight? Maybe Ivan getting some time on that second line.
Yeah.
But beyond that, LOC played a good amount of time on the fourth line tonight. You saw your depth forwards play well. The worst possession player on the Colorado Avalanche was at 58% Corsi 4, which on a normal night, a 58% Corsi 4 night is a dominant night. So it's impressive just how good the Avs were. 58% was Sam Malinsky.
Okay, gotcha.
It just felt like with everyone in place, things clicked better. Oliver Shillington was an 80% Corsi 4 guy tonight. He was fantastic at driving the Avs in the right direction. Didn't play a ton, but in the time he did, he was very, very good. Top to bottom in the Avs lineup. And then you remember, oh, by the way, the Avs are going to get Ross Colton back at some point. The Avs are going to get Jonathan Drouin back at some point. The Avs might get Gabe Landeskog back at some point. Everyone feels like they're in a good... Yeah.
Or player X at the trade deadline.
Right.
You know what I mean? Or whatever. I'm saying you're going to add a little bit because you know they're going to be in the mix. You know they're going to be in favor, like favorites to come out of the West by a lot of pundits. So yeah, player X.
So you watch the Avs already be really good, and then remember they still have a handful of guys that they're gonna get back or gonna be new add-ons or whatever it might be, and you go, yeah, you can see how this is a great hockey team. Tiff, who's trying to call into our show right now? Who?
It's not me.
Oh, it's Giz? Okay, cool. Let's bring him in. Actually, I think we have enough time here before the ad break. Let's just do Giz right now if he's ready to go.
On Verizon?
Yo.
Giz, thank you for calling in.
We had some technical difficulties and then a fire alarm going off, so we're improvising a little bit here.
It's been that kind of a night, a little all over the place, but the Avs looked locked in. Giz, how was it in the arena?
Fantastic. One of the better games that they have played just because of the effort that they got from sort of across the board, in my opinion. I was impressed. I really was. That was a full 60 from Gorgiev for the most part. For me, he got a little bit lucky here and there on a few, but I'll give him full marks for the swagger and for the confidence that he seemed to have tonight. A little bit of a renewed vigor from him just in the way he was making some saves and a couple glove saves. He up until this point in the season, he hasn't come off to me as flashy or have that swag, have that gravitas. And tonight it was there. There was a renewed sense in Nathan MacKinnon, who seemed to get rid of this pass first mentality and just absolutely bomb pucks. He was fantastic. Rantanen looked good. Nichuskin, did everything he was supposed to do. So full marks for me tonight, especially forwards and goaltending.
Yeah, on the goaltending side, I've kind of adopted a new saying this year. Good goaltenders tend to get good luck. It's funny how that works out.
Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good.
Yeah, amen to that, brother. Amen to that. You look at those forwards, I agree 100%. Nathan MacKinnon doing a lot of the heavy lifting tonight, but it ends up being Val Nichuskin as the guy who gets the regulation goal and the only guy to score in the shootout. What's the vibe both in the arena and around the team with Nichuskin? Obviously, we've talked a lot about his situation and the mistakes he's made or the way he's let his team down. Are we past that? Is he just a key hockey player for this team now?
Well, he is right now, and I think that's how you got to take it. Listen, anytime anybody goes through something and they're trying to fix themselves, it's a from what I've heard, I've never had to go through that, but it's a day by day thing, right? It's take it one day at a time, and then the next day, the next day, the next day, and then hopefully those days turn into weeks and turn into months, and then eventually turn into years. So for Val Nichuskin, obviously right now he's doing the things that he needs to do to make sure that he's okay on a daily basis. I have to imagine that being back around your brothers and playing the game and the sport that you love is a massive help in that process. And right now he's doing those things, and he's performing. He's doing his job on the ice. Did his job tonight with 2 goals, including the game winner. So I think that something like tonight goes a long way in physically proving to your teammates that you are committed to this, and you are going to do what you can to make yourself better, which in turn makes the team better.
Yeah, you're whatever you want to call that. It's almost coming to an end. But
I can't. I don't know if I'm
good.
keeping it or not yet, buddy. We're gonna have to. I gotta figure it out. All y'all have facial hair. I'm getting like mixed reviews. Some people are like, "Yeah, get rid of that right away," and everybody else is like, "Yeah, you're pulling that off." So,
Any big plans for Thanksgiving tomorrow, Giz?
going to a good friend's house here in Denver. Obviously, the boys play again the next day, so no time to go back to the 313 and see mom and dad. But I'll get some home cooking, which is exciting.
I talked about in the pregame there. Sorry, my keys. I talked about the ghosts and Ball Arena and Pepsi Center, and they showed Peter Forsberg, so you could tell, like, you know what I mean, like the presence was there. I mean, it was old Avalanche hockey. I loved it, and it seemed electric in there tonight.
Crowd was into it big time. I mean, they definitely. The only other time I've seen a crowd so knowledgeable about the game they're watching was when I worked with Chicago. Like that crowd really understood the game and what should and shouldn't be a penalty, and when and where the big moments were. And tonight saw that with the 18,000 plus that were in attendance. Everybody was having a good time. They know it's Thanksgiving tomorrow. Nobody's got to work. It's like a Friday night. But yeah, crowd was into it tonight. The boys responded real well. All in, I thought that was just a really solid effort. From everybody that was in the building tonight. I also give a lot of credit to Bednar. He jostled the lines, and I think that sparked some things too.
Yeah, the depth especially. He was mixing and matching a little bit. You mentioned the crowd was into it. Giz, what about the locker room side of this? The Avs have had a penchant this year for they go on a winning streak, they go on a losing streak. To be able to get that win back and not turn this 1 loss into 2, was there a feeling that it was kind of a big deal for the team, or was it just another win for them?
I think it felt like it was just another win for them. I mean, they were out of there pretty quick. I guess I caught me a little off guard. I expected a little bit more of an upbeat, cheery attitude, but I think what I take away from that is that they understand that they have to grind out some wins right now, and that a victory in a shootout in a game that they dominated for the most part probably didn't necessarily feel like a great win, because it probably should have been 2 or 3 more goals, and they shouldn't have had to worry about going into extra rounds in the shootout.
Yeah.
So I think it's all business right now for them, and I don't mind that. I like the fact that they're like heads down. We'll celebrate later. It's game 22 or 21 or whatnot it is. So we just got to keep going right now.
Well, as it is.
I just want to, I'll just add that, at the end of the day, pretty quiet after, because I'll tell you one thing. They left it all out on the table. And like Rudo said, everyone gave a great effort. And again, in tough circumstances, it felt like their tank was empty, you know what I mean? And in a good way. They didn't leave anything out there. It took all the way to the shootout to make them solidify that win. But, yeah, I mean, I would have gone in that locker room. And if I'm Nate McKinnon playing 28 minutes tonight, whatever it was, I would have passed out. Then you would have needed to give me some IV bags. And, because you got to remember, 28 minutes, it's like back then was like a month's work for me. So I would have been dead tired.
You know what, man? No, I'll tell you something, what I've learned about Nathan McKinnon. If there is anybody that can handle a 28-minute night, it is definitely number 29. He is an absolute force of nature and a machine. And he was excellent tonight. I mean, McKinnon was excellent tonight.
And look, I don't blame him for wanting to leave that locker room early. I wish I wasn't.
I don't either. No.
8:30 start is a tough look for everybody for a shootout game, man. Get out of there.
You know who I felt bad for? I felt bad for our boy Kenny Albert, my friend. He's trying to catch the red eye back to New York, and I don't know if he made that.
Yeah, that's going to be a tight squeeze for sure. It's officially Thanksgiving in Colorado now, so.
Yes.
Yeah, 12 o'clock. I think there's like a 1:15, maybe. Ooh.
Oh, if it was a 1:15, he's definitely going to make it.
You get to Boston, you can skip up over. Eric knows the Boston flight really well. So.
I don't know why they don't just,
No, there's one to JFK. I mean, that's the one I take when I leave after the show.
See,
there's like a 1:15.
This is the knowledge that only DNVR can bring you. In-depth thoughts on the red eyes to the East Coast. All right.
You won't take the United one because you won't make the United one.
I just fly private in these situations. Thanks to
Must be nice. Must be nice, buddy.
But you won't make United. You won't make it because at midnight you got to take the JetBlue one, which is like at 1:20. So that's probably the one Kenny was taking.
Yeah.
Give final thoughts, and we'll let you go enjoy your Thanksgiving once you give us your last thoughts here.
No. I mean, listen, that's a good win. The boys will take most of the day off tomorrow, but they're flying tomorrow afternoon, obviously. So hopefully they get a little bit of time with their families. Hope you all get some time with your families as well. And thankful for being a part of the DNVR and All-City family.
Always thankful for you guys. We appreciate you, Giz. We will catch you again on Friday. As for us, we may be thankful for a lot of things, but I'm also thankful for being able to take care of my money. And if you need help in that category, Premier Members Credit Union is the place for you. They're a credit union, not a bank, and they want to help you make more money by doing the things that you are already doing. They're a financial institution based right here in Colorado, and they have a ton of different options with local branches, friendly tellers, and tools to make you save smarter, like the reverse tier money market. It's the account you need to get ahead and stay ahead in this economy. You can check it out today, Premier Members Credit Union. It's a game changer for your finances and your life. So why not see what they can do for you? BecomePremier.com or the link in our show notes to learn more. Again, that's BecomePremier.com. Once you're taking care of your money, make sure that you are also enjoying your life. Look, I think a lot of the things people don't realize, you spend a lot of time in your vehicle, whether it's driving into work or driving to the grocery store or taking your kids to sports or whatever it might be. You're always in your car. And that's why you need a Toyota. You can go visit your Front Range Toyota dealerships today. They have a vehicle for everyone, 17 different all-wheel drive vehicles. We have one of our people that works here for ALLCITY just moved to Colorado this summer. This is her first winter in Colorado. So she's experiencing the roads.
Freaking out.
Yeah, she's not ready for the snowy roads. Toyota makes your life easier with those all-wheel drive vehicles, if that's what you're experiencing. So make sure you get with Toyota. They're the official vehicle of not just us here at DNVR, but also the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche. So they've got you fully covered. You can visit your local Toyota dealerships today. Those include, but are not limited to, AutoNation Toyota Arapahoe in Centennial, Corwin Toyota in Boulder, Groove Toyota in Littleton, Mountain States Toyota in Denver, Stevenson Toyota in Aurora, and Stevenson Toyota West in Lakewood. Again, the official vehicle of the Colorado Avalanche. Third period, or what's left of the third period of fourth period, I guess. I don't know. Overtime period, the last
Shootout.
period. I hate shootouts just like Eric, so we're not calling it the shootout. We're over that. I think the Colorado Avalanche have turned the corner. I really think they have on their season. They've now won 7 of their last 9. They've lost games and proved they can bounce back and win the next one. They're reasonably healthy, if not fully healthy. Eric, is this the team we expected the Colorado Avalanche to be this year?
Absolutely. And again, boy, oh boy, you're only seeing it, the last couple weeks, right? You know what I mean? Where it's, and knock on wood, this is where it's been so good on the back end. We haven't seen a lot of injuries on the back end, which is a plus, or in the net, right, for that matter. You didn't have to Georgiev missed a couple games, whatever it was, but, Eddie didn't play. And, up front, you're expecting an injury or two, right? You know what I mean? And always, you know what I mean? And right now, those are kind of heavy injuries, right? It was Ross, the way he played, the way he took advantage of the situation. Um, that was a heavy loss when he went down, you know what I mean? And it still is. And if you look at Druin now, that really hasn't found his groove, you know, because he's been dealing with that side thing, whatever it is that he's got, most of the season now. But yeah, it is what I expected of the Avalanche. So minus one or two guys, that, like I said, you're always expected to have one or two injuries. But it's fantastic to watch. It's a powerful team. It's a team that if you're the opposition and you don't get to see them every day, you look at them and you're like, oh boy, we better strap our boots on tonight and buckle up our chin straps and really, you know, tighten everything up and be ready to go, or else we're going to get our butts kicked. You know what I mean? And man, oh man, we didn't really say much about it tonight again, but like Kel McCarr, you're talking about 25, 30 minutes a night where you're absolutely dominating, you know what I mean, a shift because you're not spending time in your own end. And then when the opposition just gets it out, he gets it right back in. You know, it's a luxury to have those guys. I think this is what the Avalanche are supposed to be. What are they, like 8-2 in their last 10? That's what the Avalanche are about. And I think they'll be, again, we talk about it, when you have championship aspirations and championship mentality, you're never satisfied with those things. You want to make sure that you do it in the playoffs. And we know that the last couple of years, they fell way short of it. And I think that for them, that's not acceptable. But we can't talk playoffs until you go through the regular season, and you talk about it all the time. You can only play the game that's in front of you in the schedule, so you can't fast forward 60 games. But it certainly gives you an indication of where you're at, a little bit of a pulse on your team and what this team can be. You know, when everyone's there, when everyone's healthy, when everyone's humming, or what else do you need to make sure that you are the last team standing and you are the team that gets that silver thing at the end?
Maybe getting a little bit ahead of myself here. Dallas does have 2 games in hand, so take that with a grain of salt. But they lost tonight, and on paper, the Avs are tied with Dallas in total points with the win tonight, 26-26. Now, Dallas probably wins at least 1, maybe 2 of those games in hand. So maybe you're more like 4 points behind Dallas. But given where the Avs were 10 games ago, being 4 points behind that team, you feel like the Avs have put themselves back in it.
And you're playing them. Right, I mean,
yeah, you go play them Friday night. Yeah,
so you play them Friday night. I mean, those are huge games. You know what I mean? Because, but then if you look at it, I'm just looking back right now. I'm sitting on a freaking nice leather chair and traveling tomorrow. And I'll tell you one thing. You forget how grueling life in the NHL is. Like, if you look at the Avs the last 10 days or so, and then you have one game, and then tomorrow's Thanksgiving, and then you get on the flight, and you go to Dallas, you come back on a back-to-back, you play Edmonton, which we already talked about, where Edmonton is doing the same thing. So there's no advantage there, right? Both teams will be gassed, Saturday. But then the Avs go back, and they're going back for another week in the East. You know what I mean? Like, man, oh man, does this season, is the NHL is a grind. It's a grind. You forget how much of a grind it is. And, as much as people think that it's easy on your body, it's not. You know what I mean? It's not. And those guys prepare, and they get a lot of therapy, and they're all banged up. And, boy, oh boy, I raise my hat to everybody, not just the Avalanche. But when you go through those tough stretches, that is a tough stretch for the Avalanche here this past 10 days to the next 10, 20 days. It's kind of a little bit nuts.
One of the beauties of sports are, last game, the Avs were a disaster. Played maybe one of their worst games of the season. But guess what? There's another game. They get to bounce back. They get tonight's game where maybe they feel like they deserved more. Maybe they feel like they should have won easier. But they played a very good hockey game, and they found a way to get the win. It's nice to have that bounce back, to have that turnaround where you don't have to sit in it. You don't have to stew in some losses like the Avs have with some of their streaks this year. They get those turnaround wins, and you feel good about the team.
And you hear that in the locker rooms all the time, and it's not cliche. And you after the 8-2 drubbing, you're like, oh, you know what? We get to redeem ourselves, 48 hours from now. And that's the difference with football. I've always felt that Again, I've never played football, but you play, what is it, 16 games a year, 17 games? I don't even know, so please don't be mad at me. But give and take, and you play once a week, and sometimes you get that bye week, and so you have a loss. It's like, oh, I got to stew on it for a week or 2 weeks. Like it stinks. You know what I mean? Where we're lucky. Usually within 24, 48 hours, you're back out there. And that's why I even like it on the back-to-back, where if you get spanked the game before, then, you know what I mean? Like, you get to redeem yourself the next day. And then the Avalanche came home, had a day off, played with their kids or whatever it was that they did, changed their minds, then go to the rink, and then you won't think about this 8-2 loss in Tampa anymore. All you're thinking about now is it's Thanksgiving and you won your last game. You're only as good as your last game, and you can't always dwell on the past. You can learn from it, and then you move on. And obviously, you have to address it. That's what championship mentality teams do. You know what I mean? Because you want to make sure you're all on the same page. And you address it, you look at it, you move on. And again, Bednar and company must have done a wonderful job this morning to address whatever needed to be addressed because they didn't address the team yesterday. Everybody had a day off, but you take a few minutes, and it felt like they were dragging this morning at morning skate, which anybody would have been dragging. You and me would have been the Zamboni on the
But
ice.
I woke up at 2 p.m. today, all right? There's no way I was showing up for morning skate.
So, it is tough. It is tough. And yeah, they're great conditioned athletes and everything, but, again, your mind has to be conditioned as well. And then I felt like the Avalanche were ready to go physically tonight in tough circumstances, but also ready to go mentally in tough circumstances.
Well, we do have 2 super chats to get to here before we close things out. First up, we have Drew with the $7 saying, so does Georgie just legit need glasses or contacts to see the puck further away? Hashtag glasses for Georgiev. I don't think that's the solution, but it'd be really funny if it was. And then $20 from Braden, who says, crazy OT win, boys. Yeah, I feel no bad parts about this. I know some people will say, oh, well, they didn't get the regulation win or the row or whatever it is. I do not care. Put wins in the win column however you can get them right now if you're the Colorado Avalanche. I've said it a lot the last 2 to 3 weeks. It's time to put 500 in the rearview mirror. Well, this win gets the Avs back to 3 games above 500, but more than that, they're already 500 away because of that road trip they go 3-1 on. Tonight's game puts them at 7-6 at home, so above 500 at home too. This is a team that is finally getting back to where they need to be.
Oh, absolutely. And, you want to put points in the bank, and whether you win in regulation or not. I'll tell you one thing. In the situation, you had circled that game tonight, and you're like, oh, boy, this is going to be a tough one. And on top of it, they were getting goalied, too. You know what I mean? Like, Inhill was fantastic. So that would have been disastrous where you feel like you were the better team, you were tired, and then you come up short. So, again, I hate shootouts. I hate winning or losing in the shootout, but tonight I really enjoyed watching that shootout win because it was on the right side of things.
When it works out your way, it works out your way. It tends to go the way of the good teams, like I've said. So the Avs are able to pick up this win. We are going to wrap this one up as it's 12:20 here, and for Eric, it's almost 2:30 a.m., so he's having a late night. We will not be broadcasting tomorrow. Obviously, it's Thanksgiving, so we wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, but we'll be back for Friday's game. By the way, keep an eye out. A lot of great deals coming your way with Black Friday and DNVR. So make sure you are getting over to the All City Network store. Jump in with them. Get some shirts. Well, don't do it yet. Wait for the deals. The deals are coming. I promise. Or if you're crazy, become a diehard right now, and you get a free shirt with that. So AJ's writing a ton of stuff on the diehard stuff. You want to make sure you go check that out. We have a bunch of features coming. Eric's story time should be coming up soon. So go keep an eye out on all of our sick content. Go check out all of our post-game stuff. I'm sure AJ's studs and duds are probably already up.
Yeah,
there you go. Post-game story's already up. So go check that stuff out. For us, we are out of here. Again, have a happy holiday, or if you don't celebrate, then have a happy regular day. We appreciate y'all, and we will talk to you on the next one.
We all silly like the mayor.